Hello and welcome and a very good evening. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive with me, Siddharth Talia. Now, as Australia passes a law banning social media for children under the age of 16, India is mulling stricter laws here to curb vulgar content on the social media and other platforms. The Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, while speaking on the matter of social media laws, called upon the Parliamentary Standing Committee to deal with the issue of such content online, highlighting that the social media was developed in countries which have culturally been different than India. He said that the need for stringent social media laws are now the need of the hour to curb vulgar content online. Now, at a time when content on the internet is increasingly under scrutiny, India is not the only country that is planning to place curbs on social media giants. In Australia, well, the country ended up banning social media content for children under the age of 16. In France, children under the age of 15 cannot create social media accounts without parental consent. In the United Arab Emirates, the government there criminalizes users for criticizing the government on the social media. Laws also include penalties, including imprisonment as well as deportation. WhatsApp, Skype, and Apple's FaceTime accounts there have actually been banned. In Russia, several platforms have been banned by the government there. Platforms functioning in Russia must store user data within the country itself. In Turkey, the government had introduced legislation for stricter censorship of social media content. It also mandated localization of user data storage. In neighboring China, leading platforms such as Facebook, the social media platform X, YouTube, Instagram have been blocked. Heavy penalties have also been imposed, including imprisonment for the flouting of these bans. In North Korea, which is an authoritarian state, much like China, there's a complete internet lockdown, no access to any websites. There's constant surveillance on those who are allowed access. Citizens are permitted to access certain websites that are maintained by the government there. So there's a raging debate here in India as well as to the ways and means that the government can actually adopt to regulate content on the social media. And this is not something that has been confined to social media alone, but also OTT platforms, among other platforms. The downside of this, according to many, is that this will only increase litigation and perhaps even result in censorship of creative content. That's the argument that's been coming from the other side. But several other countries around the world, at least on social media, are now resorting to increased monitoring as well as scrutiny of those platforms. Let's in fact listen to what the Information and Broadcasting Minister, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, said about the need for regulation when it comes to this kind of content.
एडिटोरियल चेक आज खत्म हो गया है। उस एडिटोरियल चेक के खत्म होने के कारण आज सोशल मीडिया एक तरफ से फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस का एक बहुत बड़ा माध्यम है, लेकिन साथ ही साथ दूसरी तरफ एक अनकंट्रोल्ड एक्सप्रेशन जिसमें कई तरह के वल्गर कंटेंट वगैरह भी आते हैं। अभी जो एग्जिस्टिंग कानून है माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, उसको निश्चित तौर पे और कड़ा करने की जरूरत है और मैं निवेदन करूंगा इसके ऊपर एक कंसेंसस बने। जिन ज्योग्राफी से, जिन कंट्रीज से सोशल मीडिया के ये प्लेटफॉर्म्स निकले हैं, वहाँ की सेंसिटिविटी और अपने देश की सेंसिटिविटी में बहुत बड़ा फर्क है और ये इस तरह का डिबेट आज दुनिया के करीब करीब हर देश में। इसीलिए मेरा निवेदन है माननीय अध्यक्ष जी कि जो अपनी पार्लियामेंट की स्टैंडिंग कमेटी है वो भी इस विषय को उठाए और इस विषय पे समाज में कंसेंसस हो और उसमें और कड़े कानून बने।
So that was the INB Minister, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, speaking in Parliament, also calling for the Standing Committee to look into ways and means in which laws can actually be framed to further scrutinize and monitor content on the social media. We're currently being joined by Mr. Uday Mahurkar, who's the founder of the Save Culture, Save Bharat Foundation. He's also the former Chief Information Commissioner as well, and somebody who's, of course, strongly advocated for curbs as well as regulation with regards to what he describes as vulgar content, not just online, but also on OTT platforms. Many thanks, Mr. Mahurkar, for speaking to Times Now. Let me, in fact, begin by asking you, sir, of course, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav has echoed a lot of your concerns as well, but there are already laws, and this is the counterpoint to something that you've been advocating. There are already laws under Section 294 and 295 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita with respect to obscenity and placing curbs on obscene acts. You also have, of course, several provisions of the Information Technology Act. Let me just read those out. IT Act 2000, Section 67A, Section 67B. You already have the POCSO Act as well with respect to the exploitation of children when it comes to content of this nature. You also have the Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986. So amid an entire gamut of laws that already exist to regulate this kind of content, why do you need another layer of laws that might only lead to greater litigation, sir, and harassment? That's the counterpoint.
Let me give one example. I have filed a police complaint against X, Netflix and Alt with Delhi police. Correct? Quoting all these sections which you narrated right now. My complaint has been rejected, FIR has not been filed. And I was not even told about it. I got somebody to file an RTA application. And from there I came to know that they have rejected my applications against these 3 platforms. Correct? Now, you see, what is the challenge before this country? You see, India has taken a vow to become a great nation by 2047. Viksit Bharat, correct? I have no doubt that India will become an economic superpower, a military superpower, a scientific superpower by 2037, 10 years before that. But will India be a culturally pauper nation? Plus, those who are saying that this will be an attack on freedom of expression, freedom of creativity, they are totally wrong. Because what kind of films, the kind of material which we have given in our complaint is so shocking. There are films where there is sexual perversion shown between daughter-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, teacher, student, mother-in-law and son-in-law. There is one film which is called All Limits, where a male is having sex with his grandmother, with his stepmother, with his cousin sister and with his bhabi. Now, tell me one thing, how can this be justified under the argument of creative freedom? Right. So what we are demanding is, you see, the most horrendous part of this whole thing is that 90% of the rape cases, if you go through the FIR, are now being provoked by content. And there's a new thing which has started, which is so shocking, where minors are raping minors on a daily basis. Not all of them get reported. There are, in last 3 months, 7 cases of brother raping a sister, father raping a daughter, and in one horrendous case, a drunk son seeing pornography and raping his own mother. Now the situation is horrendous. If we are talking about a great Bharat, we are far away from it. Right. And my point is that from where the tape from which this dirt is coming, that tape has to be closed.
But can all these incidents be attributed to what you describe as vulgar content online? Mr. Mahurkar, we also have another guest with us. Manvi Taneja, actor, is joining us to provide her perspective. In your case, sir, there's been no action, like you've said. You filed a complaint with the Delhi police. They've not acted on it, which is why you believe there need to be stronger laws. But let me cite one instance on the 14th of March 2024, when the INB ministry ended up blocking 18 OTT platforms on the charge of publishing obscene and vulgar content. They also blocked 19 websites, 10 apps and 57 social media handles for depicting nudity and sexual acts in various inappropriate contexts, such as relationships between teachers and students, incestuous family relationships, etc. The content included sexual innuendos, the same kind of instances that you cited in your complaint. But Manvi Taneja, the concern also is that this might lead to censorship and impinge upon creative liberty. What's your response to what Mr. Mahurkar is saying?
Censorship is already there on OTT and social media platform. If you talk about pornography. Pornography is not allowed. Yes, you can upload something which is erotic. But to what my co-panel said, I would like to tell him that it may be vulgar for some, but entertainment for the rest. People like it. Audience are totally responsible to for the content creator to create such content. If such contents come across their social media platform, they like it, share it, comment it. When you try to share such reels again and again, it gives boost to a reel. And yes, if it gives boost to a reel, it gains it gains view. And once it is view, there are more views on the creator gets encouragement somewhere down the line to create such content again and again. And if you see the comment section, if you try to see a comment section in that particular reel, you'll see, okay, good job, well done, wow, what next, what are you bringing up with, as in you should bring up with something new. It is all about demand and supply.
Okay.
The more you demand it, the more supply you get it from the content creator. Wait, I just need to complete one thing. There is a button of report also. Nobody likes to report it. Despite of clicking on report, they like to share it. So once you share the reel, it will go viral. Secondly, demand and supply, as I said, there is a very less audience. If a content creator wants to create a reel related to education, religious, or fitness, you don't get views on that. So somewhere down the line, the content creators, they are forced to create such contents because they हर जगह से पैसा ही मिल रहा है. Secondly, if you want to talk about minors,
no, that is an absolute no-no. But as far as minors are concerned, but Mr. Mahurkar, you've been waiting to, in fact, intervene and offer your rebuttal to what Ms. Taneja just said. We're also opening our lines to callers for their perspective on this story. But Mr. Mahurkar, one concern is that the definition of obscene is far too broad. The definition of vulgar is far too broad. There needs to be a narrow definition for laws to be implemented properly in this particular matter. Right now, they're tantamount to actually creating a scenario where there could be more harassment as opposed to genuine curbing of vulgar content.
This is an argument where I don't agree with.
Okay.
India's future is at stake. If there are rapes we have proved that there are 8 studies we have compiled, including international studies, which prove that pornographic content is the main instigator of the rapist. Starting with Ted Bundy, the biggest rapist killer of America, who in 1989, before being sentenced to death, gave an interview and said that I was born in a good family, well-to-do family. I was brought up very well, but I got into the habit of seeing pornography, and then I raped one lady and I had to kill her because I had to save myself. And then I got into the habit of killing. Now, he has said that when I came to Florida jail for my sentence to be carried out, he met with lots of rape accused in the Florida jail, and he said that all of us spoke about it, we discussed this issue, and we have reached the conclusion that pornography is the main instigator of the rapist.
You must have seen erotic. Pornography
is
not allowed.
You have to see my
If you talk about social media platforms, in India,
not at all.
We are talking about India. We are talking about India. Okay, name one series or name one picture which you find on OTT platform which is related to pornography. Where you have seen pornography. You have to name me. To upload such content on social media platform, or there is a movie or a web series which is related to pornography, it will be directly removed from the platform.
You have to see my you can't make
no. आपके पहले facts clear करिए. You get your facts clear.
Record, you go and
Sir, you need to get your facts clear because pornography is not allowed. What you are talking about is erotic. It's erotic. It is not pornography.
Pornographic content in
if you
125.
It is not allowed in India. If you talk about OTT platform, I have a social media platform. If I try to upload any content which is a porn, it will be removed directly from the platform. There is already a firewall. There is already a firewall for pornography.
There are
what you are talking about,
you have to listen to me.
माँ के साथ
You have to listen to me.
just going through all that relation. पिछड़े ना समाज का आईना होता है सर पिछड़े समाज का आईना है. पिछड़े वही दिखाता है जो समाज में हो रहा है. समाज में हो रहा है पिछड़े बन रही है.
मतलब आपका
You need to understand that.
रेप
पिछड़े समाज का आईना है. नहीं जो समाज में हो रहा है वही पिछड़े बन रही है.
What nonsense you
मैं
are
कह रही हूँ पिछड़े समाज का आईना है.
But Mr. Mahurkar and Ms. Taneja, this is of course a raging debate. We'll have to wait and see as to what kind of laws the standing committee will now deliberate in order to keep a curb on this kind of content doing the rounds on OTT platforms as well as social media. One just hopes that this does not actually result in censorship of genuine content that may be aesthetically done. So let's wait and see as to how this actually evolves. But Ms. Taneja as well as Mr. Mahurkar, many thanks for your intervention and your participation in this very important debate. We'll take a short break now.